So if you look at the problem of getting data into your PIM, the traditional approach was to almost treat it like a waterfall process. First, you had to go out and take an inventory of all your data assets and take a look at what you were trying to get in. Then there was a modeling exercise to build an overarching schema or taxonomy for that data based on your understanding of what data you had and what the requirements were. Finally, you had to load it in, which meant making some kind of data load or transform scripts that would force what you had to conform to the model you had created. And often this was a long process because you were trying to understand all the requirements. Plus, it was a lossy process in that not all data could conform, and you'd built a one-size-fits-all model, and so only some data makes it in. And then the idea was that you'd fix the data gaps that were remaining. Leads to a couple of problems. One is very long time to value, and secondly is missed requirements. Often, you didn't get the perfect understanding of the requirements, and so you had misses, and then there's another long cycle to fix those changes. The contrast with Salsify is Salsify doesn't force you to define the whole model up front. You can invest in some modeling, but at the end of the day, you can also load anything into the system immediately and start working with it in place. This means that stuff can maybe get a little messy at the edges, but you can always fix it and improve governance incrementally. It actually leads towards better data more quickly because you're more directly connected to the needs of what you're trying to do with the data. The challenge of activating your data off of a traditional PIM is that the requirements of all the different digital shelf experiences that you're trying to power differ. This leads to a couple of challenges. One is you've created one version of the truth that presumably serves all needs, but maybe not exactly in the format that those data were needed down that channel. So there's typically custom outbound transformation that had to happen to get the data ready to go for that channel. That's more work. Plus, there's often the need to customize the data. You might have a specific description or specific data for a given channel. It's hard to do that. You can either glue it on afterwards by having it in a secondary store or put more extra custom channel-specific attributes into your one data model. It leads to a lot of complexity and messiness that makes it harder to reliably know what you're going to publish on any given channel. For Salsify, the beauty is there's not one version of the truth. You can have a core data catalog, but you can also, in an organized fashion, store overrides and mappings that are specific for a given channel. This means that as you update the data in the core, everything can be reflected very naturally down the channel. It means that you're keeping everything in one place, you're improving governance, and you're improving an ability to efficiently, in an agile way, publish to new channels. So finally, there's the issue of protecting and governing your data. Our approach to having multiple versions of the truth and having activation very directly represented in the core PIM actually has a very powerful positive effect on data governance. If you think about what often happens in a world where you have one inflexible version of the truth, but you have business users trying to get things done on a given retailer, what that often leads to is people working around the system. They may have some separate spreadsheet or some other data store where they're managing the custom needs or overrides of their channel. This leads to data messiness. You don't have the data all in one place, which was at the end of the day one of the key objectives of the PIM. By keeping all those channel-specific overrides and customizations in one place, offering an ergonomic way to map between the core data and the channel-specific needs, you keep everybody in the system. Also, by making governance provide guidance without being a blocker to somebody wanting to get something done quickly on the channel, you keep them in the system and you're able to actually put that data under governance and under management incrementally. At the end of the day, you actually end up with more people staying in the system, a clearer view of your complete set of data that you're able to manage and govern more effectively over time.